Hello everyone, and welcome to another beer review. Now, I'm dubious about what the beer I'm going to review, and I'm going to blame some people. And one of the people I'm going to blame for my dubiousness is Sloppy Dave, but there's been others. There's been others that have mentioned this as well. And I would probably went in here maybe slightly apprehensive, but a bit more kind of buoyancy than I actually have, because they gave me a kind of potential heads up of like, you mean all these beers are nice from Sam Smith and da 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 da, you know, that singing kinky boy brewer, or is it kinky girl or kinky something, kinky they them he him, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. They said that it's the cases of, well, this is nice and that's nice, well, apart from their, what do you call it, yeah, that's not so great. And unfortunately, we're now on to that, what do you call it, which is Samuel Smith's organic, excuse me, chocolate stout. Sorry, I just had a rather gassy beer review, and it's still coming back. It's still finding me. You know what I mean? I was going to say a slightly overcarbonated beer, but it wasn't a beer. So there you go. So yes, this is Samuel Smith Organic Chocolate Stout, which a few people, including Sloppy Dave, said, well, they kind of gave me the kind of impression that it's not so great. And now here we go. We've got some stuff here, right here. There we go. Brewed with well water and fermented in stone Yorkshire squares. Yeah, we fucking know that. Jesus, get over yourself, for fuck's sake. You're going to repeat that in every fucking label. The gently roasted organic chocolate malt and organic cocoa extract. Oh no. Now I can understand what you're saying. Cocoa or cacao extract. Impart a delicious, smooth and creamy character with inviting deep flavours and a delightful finish. This is the perfect marriage of satisfying stout and luxurious chocolate. Oh, Jesus. It's manufactured piss, isn't it? Jesus. So, yeah, that sounds just by going with this. My alarm bells are ringing. I'm thinking, no. If you can't get the chocolate flavours, I mean, it's going to be difficult to get chocolate flavours because you're more likely to get chocolate flavours from roasted barley, but this is a stout which is made from roasted grains, so it's quite difficult to really get that chocolate flavour from roasted grains. You can get a bit, but you're not going to get to the same level as you get with porters, hence why you get far more of these kind of chocolate tones from porters, because they come from roasted malts, not roasted grains, because that's what's used for making stouts. It really is that fucking basic. So then ideas when you start using roasted blooming grains to make a stout, but you want to make a chocolate stout, you're going to have to then start adding additional flavours. And that's your problem, because these things do not transpose cleanly. You might start off, oh, it tastes nice and bittery and everything else as I'm adding it. But during the fermentation and the conditioning process, these flavours are lost and you get something completely bloody different that does not taste nice. And then what you end up doing is probably adding a little bit more synthetic flavours and additional adjuncts to try and kind of boost it and everything else. And it turns out usually to be a fucking shit show. I mean, it's not that difficult. I mean, the amount of breweries that have made that mistake, it doesn't work. If you want to get more chocolate tones in a stout, you're going to have to increase the roasted malt ratio. And of course, this is a problem, because then you start making, you get to a kind of point where you're making a hybrid kind of porter stout rather than a stout anymore, because you're adding too much of the recipe over towards a porter style beer rather than a stout. So this idea of cacao extract and everything else, and I'm thinking, oh, No, it just doesn't work. Synthetic flavouring, extracts, it just does not work. Just understand that stouts aren't really supposed to be overly chocolatey. Porters are, stouts aren't. It really isn't that fucking difficult. Right, now we've had that kind of brewing lesson, shall we crack it open and see what we've got? Oh God, here we go. I've got the little glass again. Let's pour this little beauty. And there we go. For the people on the podcast, it's got a nice light tanned head. And yes, it's very dark. It's a slight little light coming through on the sides, but right in the centre, in the middle part of it, no light's coming through at all. So it's glassed as dark. Smell wise, I'm getting straight away a natural aroma of chocolate. And it doesn't smell natural. There's no bitterness to it or in that. There's not kind of bitterness edge to the smell. It just smells kind of unnaturally chocolate. And trust me, I have never had a porter, a proper traditional brewed porter, that has these type of chocolate aromas like that. And trust me, you're never going to get them in a fucking stout. So you're not going to get them even in a porter smelling like that. So why do they honestly think that we're going to get, unless they really think we're dumb fucks? Is this what it is? Do they think we're stupid? Because trust me, no stout will ever have a chocolate aroma like that. And you can add as much shit as you like. No. It just smells, oh, it just smells false. It smells like cheap fucking, remember you used to get the cheap box of chocolates and pound stretchers? That used to be a thing, and that type of stuff would be, me and my dad would be bored and that, and we'd take a run to Ayr. Aye, okay, we'd take a run to Ayr. And we'd end up in pound stretchers and we'd end up buying some shitty box of chocolates, or something like that. Something shitty we'd end up buying in pound stretchers. And quite often, there's a box of chocolates. She'll buy your mother one of them. Aye, because she's been a bit of an arsehole this week, so yeah, she deserves it, Daphne. Aye. She's been on my back all fucking week, aye. Go and get it, aye. Aye. Let us smell it first, Aye, they're the ones. That's it. That's the one she deserves, Dad. Aye, get her them, aye. Yeah, I know they're only 50p, I know, aye. Aye, get her two. Go for the full pound, just stretch it. And it's like that. It smells like cheap, nasty chocolate from fucking pound stretchers way back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. Seriously. It smells fucking awful. It really does. No, seriously. Oh, Jesus Christ. You bastards. Right, so let's see what it tastes like. You can see I'm stalling. I'm stalling just by when I smell it, I'm thinking, I don't really want to drink this. And then going from other people that I respect and value their opinions, and they're kind of like, oh yeah, the beers are quite nice, the Nutty Brown's quite nice, and blah blah blah, and that. And apart from the Chocolate Stout, they didn't actually say how bad it was, but they did give the impression that, let's be totally honest, if you could wipe your arse with it, then we'd probably say it's a better option. So let's see what it tastes like. Oh fucking hell, it's sweet. Oh Jesus. Oh, and there's coconut tones in heaven, for fuck's sake. Oh Jesus, what the hell have you done? Jesus, like fucking pina colada in a fucking glass. Like pina colada meets Nesquik. Jesus Christ. Oh. You can make a lovely cake with that. That's the first thing that's came into me. I said, Jesus, if I let my mum, well, unfortunately she's passed on, she's no longer with us. But if she had been about there, if I'd kind of given her a wee taste of this, she would probably use it to make a cake. And it would probably have been fabulous. Because my mum was a very good baker, a really good baker, award-winning baker, multiple awards over the years. She was a wonderful baker. That's one good thing she had. Apart from also seemed to be catching me doing things I'm not supposed to. She was fucking renowned for that. She almost like she had a sixth sense or something like that, you know. You know, you're Bruce Willis seeing dead people and all that. I see dead people. What fucking do you and that type of stuff? Well, my mother seems to fucking see me when I'm up to every fucking dodge. You know, she was unbelievable. Jesus God. Even as an adult, she'd be phoning up, oh, you be doing this. Fuck does she know that? Christ. You know, I'll take it back. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was one good thing. She was good at catching me up to no good. But she was also very good at baking. And she could have probably made a lovely cake using this as a base, or a nice loaf like this, because I could see this as a far better ingredient for baking than actually putting in a bottle and having a swallow. No, it just tastes false. I mean, it's almost milkshake-esque. It really is. It actually tastes a bit more like a kind of, I mean, more of an alcoholic thing, but it has more of a flavour of a milkshake. You know, a decent milkshake. You know, one of these ones you go to these kind of independent burger restaurants, you say, oh, I'll have the milkshake. Yeah, no problem. I'll go for chocolate. Reading the bill. 15 fucking pounds for a fucking milkshake, you fucking cunts. You know what I mean? That type of thing. You know? And it's like that. It's that kind of flavour tones of an overpriced milkshake. Stout. Oh, wait till fuck, seriously. Who are you kidding? That's different. Now, what did we start off? We started off with a nutty brown ale, and that was quite nice. That was quite a nice beer, actually. We had the oatmeal, and the oatmeal was actually quite a nice beer as well, the oatmeal stout. Then things went a wee bit kind of wayward with the Taddy Porter. It just didn't have the bitterness. It was, you can get away with the porter if you've got the richness, and then you don't have to have the bitterness. But when you made it kind of as light as it did, you know, so it's a bit more sessionable, so it doesn't really have the richness within the kind of roasted malts, you know, it being a porter, then you really need the bitterness at the end to kind of give it the kind of character and the balance. Excuse me. But you didn't. And that's why it started to go a bit wayward, because it was too light and just didn't have the bitterness to kind of back it up. And then you get this, and you think, oh God, it's an abomination. Because it's not a stout. It just isn't. And with these kind of chocolate flavours with little kind of hints of, because again, I know there's some chocolate extracts that you use, and what they do is there's a little bit of kind of it's synthetic kind of chocolate flavour, and what happens is it gives a little bit of kind of coconut edge to it in the aftertaste. So you get the chocolate flavour, but the kind of downside of it, you get a little kind of slightly kind of coconut flavour at the end of it. And that's what I'm getting with this. And it's too sweet, unnaturally sweet. And just overall, it's an abomination. I mean, it's up there with some of the shit I've had from M&S around about Christmas time. I remember I was trying some of the M&S kind of more kind of festive options. And let's be totally honest, the majority of them were shit. I mean, it's like, what was the horrible one? Was it from Lidl or Aldi? They had this kind of coffee stout. Well, imagine this is kind of the same kind of level of sweetness and synthetic flavour as a coffee stout, but this is more kind of chocolate rather than coffee. But just as synthetic and just as kind of false. And yeah, seriously, for fuck, how can you basically do two nice beers and then straight away you think, oh, I'm not doing good. You mean I'm two bottles in and I'm on to a winner. This is good, that type of stuff. And then now we're 4 bottles in. And it's a fucking draw right now. I mean, seriously. I mean, 2 nice beers and, well, one kind of, I suppose, okay beer. Should be a lot better than it was, but an okay beer. And now, Jesus, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel. Right, I'm going to try and break the flavours down, but it's going to be difficult because it's just overridden with these false synthetic flavours. So let's try. Right, first of all, you drink it front of the mouth. You're getting this really strong kind of sweetness at the start. It dies down a bit as it goes on to the mid tongue, but it's a kind of strong kind of sweetness that overshadows anything. If there's any kind of roasted grain flavours or that type of stuff, well, you ain't getting them. They're gone. Overshadowed by this kind of, and it's very kind of sugary sweetness, and you know it's false. What do they do? Put half a ton of bloody brown sugar into the vat while it's conditioning, you know, because it does not taste. I mean, none of this is residual sweetness from the fermentation. I mean, fuck off, it really isn't. This is additional sweetness that's been added. It's been sweetened. Let's be totally honest, it's been sweetened. And that's what you're getting. First and foremost, oof, there you go. Saccharin fucking central. Moves on to the mid tongue, and that's when both you start getting little hints of coconut, and then both this kind of false kind of synthetic chocolate, not even a bitterness and that type of stuff, this kind of false cheap kind of chocolate flavour you get in the mid tongue, and it's all the way through. So it's sweetness and synthetic chocolate flavour, and then just as it kind of dies down in the back of the mouth, after you get a little hint. So just as before it starts, you get little hints as it starts to build up of coconut, and you get little hints of coconut just as it dissipates. So as it starts to kind of rise up, this kind of horrible chocolate flavour, you get little accents of coconut, and same at the end. And it's a fucking abomination. I'll be totally honest, it's absolutely a fucking abomination. The fuck are they playing that? Seriously? He's fucking daft. I mean, fuck your organic shit. I mean, seriously. I mean, that doesn't save it. I mean, this is just piss water. Doesn't taste like a stout in any way, shape, or form. It just doesn't. Just rubbish. So why would you want to make a stout and then add flavours and sugar and everything else so it doesn't taste like a stout, but we'll still call it a stout in the label? Because either you're absolutely detracted from reality and you're fucking nuts for wasting good ingredients of, well, I hope they're good ingredients that you're wasting to make this shit. Or from the other point of view, you think, well, let's be complacent. You can fire out any old shit, and our fan base, our supporters will keep buying that shit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, fuck it. We'll fire out this fucking abomination. Because them arseholes will keep buying. So, which is it? Is it's either user off your fucking head, or your contempt for your fucking customers is so fucking bad and so low that you think, fuck them. They'll fucking keep praying at the altar of fucking Sam Smith. Fuck them all, and they can drink their fucking pish, no matter how bad it is. You know what I mean? Is it that situation? Or is it a case of, fuck them. We're arseholes, they're arseholes, we're all arseholes, fuck it, drink it, enjoy it, don't care. I don't know. I honestly really don't know which aspect they're coming from, but you got a bloody cheek, seriously. And here's the best laugh. You like this? I'm not sure the price, but I'm sure it's either going to be at least this price, might be more. But this will come in 550 bottles, and if you're buying this on their website, you can only buy it in batches of 12, which basically means it would cost you at least 45 quid plus the delivery fee for this shit. So at the very least, this is £3.75 a bottle if you buy it in the proper bottle, which is 550 millilitres. And you're thinking, seriously, that's the piece de resistance of ripping the piss out of you. You know what I mean? Because trust me, they are ripping the piss at that price and for that shit. Seriously. I'm not holding back. You get a bunch of cheeky bastards producing that fucking shit, and to call it a stout, I mean, seriously, stop doing it. What the fuck has stout done to you? Stout's actually a really, really nice drink, and it doesn't deserve the fucking treatment from somebody. Here's the thing, and this is the thing that pisses me off, and this is the thing that really highlighted when I was in Portugal. I was drinking more traditional beers, actually done really nice. And I would have probably expected something like this. I mean, I'm not saying it as a derogatory term because these are more traditional beers from the UK. These are more traditional UK beer kind of recipes and styles. So I would expect maybe more of a European to have a wee bit of kind of let's have a fuck about with it and see what we can create, which is fine. I mean, okay, I can understand it because it's not your kind of traditional style. So let's have a wee fuck about and see what happens. So I would have expected to hit something like this when I was in Portugal. I didn't. I really didn't. And I had a couple of stouts. And they were really fucking nice. And even then, they didn't think, well, let's add some fucking shitty flavours and loads of sugar and everything else. And oh, it's so fucking wonderful. No, they stuck to a more original kind of recipe style and flavour profiles and everything else. And they produced beers. I mean, I think I had two stouts. I think one was no, maybe it was maybe three, but one was an imperial, one was an oatmeal, and was a different. Oh, was it another stout I did, or was it a porter? I can't quite remember, but I did at least two stouts, and they were both really nice, and the profile flavors were on point, and everything else, and they didn't feel they had to fuck about with it because they actually thought, well, do you know what? Stouts actually have really nice beer in its own right. And really, all we need to do is to try and make the best one we can to the kind of more traditional recipes and flavour profiles. And they did. And then you come back and then you try this and you think, fucking seriously, what the hell's happened to our fucking industry over here? That I can go to Portugal and I can go to the supermarket and I can buy a bottle of stout for a cheaper price and a far better product than this shit that's cost me fucking whatever if I was buying it £3.75 at least plus delivery costs. I hope to God that some of these microbreweries start selling their products over here in the UK. I think obviously because of Brexit it's probably less likely going to happen because of all the additional issues, costs and hassles to import to the UK and vice versa going the other way. I mean that's one of the downsides of the Brexit is all the kind of administration and the tit for tat bullshit. You know, suddenly it's the cases of anyway. I'm not going to get into that political fucking minefield, but at the end of the day, there's potentially obviously good points to Brexit, and there's also bad points to Brexit. Let's be totally honest, nothing's 100% fucking clear cut. But I would love to some of these beers to be over here because I think it'd be a wake up call to some of these breweries who have got complacent of the actual market and their customer base because seriously, to produce shit like this, I mean, who the fuck are you producing that for? Because people who drink your nutty brown ale, if they're enjoying their nutty brown ale, they ain't going to fucking enjoy that shit. Let's be totally honest. I mean, fuck off with that one. And if they do, then they must be mad. So anyway, what would I give this out of 10? Well, I'm going to one more sip and I'm going to tell you. So this is the make or break sip. Fuck. It's bugger. It's absolutely bugger. I'm going to roast it. Well, I'm going to have some fucking roasted option associated with this because it's certainly not coming from the beer. Right, out of 10, I'm going to give it 1 because it's marketed as a stout. That chocolate doesn't even come into it. That's just fucking nonsense. This chocolate stout fucking nonsense. Who are they kidding? It's very difficult to get a chocolate flavours from a stout if you're brewing it to a proper stout recipe. If you're trying to make a kind of porter stout hybrid, then you might be able to get it, but again, you would never get these levels of chocolate stones. I mean, if you wanted real good chocolate flavours, even then it would still not get to the level of that. You'd have to do a really good porter, and it'd have to be really more of a chocolate porter. But even then, with the natural flavours, you still wouldn't get anywhere near this kind of level of chocolate. Then, of course, you add it doesn't taste natural, it's synthetic, it's overly sweet. Fucking Jesus, it's sweet as a fucking milk stout. But it is, it's sugary sweet. Seriously. At least it's a dark bottle. So it gets one for a dark bottle. For the rest of it, you can shove up your arse, seriously. It doesn't deserve anything else. It's a fucking abomination. So, these people were right. They kind of forewarned me, and they were absolutely spot on. It's an absolute abomination. I can understand. They didn't actually say it was an abomination, but they kind of hinted that, apart from, as if like it's the exception to the rule. And they were right. It is the exception so far. It's absolutely. I mean, the lowest mark for the 3 previous ones was a 5. This is now a 1. So let's be totally honest. And I'm being generous because I'm giving the 1 for the bottle because I can reuse that. If it was a clear bottle, it would have got fuck all. Because I can't give a mark for what's actually in the bottle that's now sitting in my glass. It's just rubbish. So yeah, it's 1 out of 10. Would I recommend it? Would I bollocks? Would I buy it again? Would I bollocks? My view is avoid. Treat it like a fucking M&S beer. Especially if it's a stout or a porter or a chocolate stout or a coffee porter or a coffee fucking God knows what else. Just don't. Or an Irish stout. They did an Irish stout and that was fucking dreadful, I know. So any dark beers from M&S, treat it on the same kind of vein as that and just avoid, And if you can knock over the actual fucking shelf when you're in M&S food courts and they all fucking smash, then you're doing the world a favour. And trust me, you will go to heaven for doing these things. But yes, it's just dreadful. They're a fucking joke, seriously. I wish I was back in Portugal. Drinking fucking proper stouts and porters. That's fucking mad, isn't it? It's mad. I mean, these reviews are going to be coming, but I'll be totally honest. I can actually go to a French supermarket in Portugal and buy a better stout and porter off the shelf than I can do in the likes of Tesco's or Lidl or Aldi or Asda and things like that. You're thinking, what the fuck is happening in this world? Madness. But these reviews are coming up, and trust me, they're an eye-opener for me, and they should be an eye-opener for you. This is also an eye-opener for me. There's an eye-opener that says, do not buy again, do not waste your money. And I wish these people had actually told me this at the start before I actually ordered this piss, because I probably wouldn't have. But anyway, thanks for watching. Cheers. And bye for now. Go down the sink.